Can a unit be planned in 15 minutes? Absolutely. I've done videos on this before, proving to you that from the top of my brain, I can just make one up and I can coach your teachers to do it too. And so can you. You can totally coach teachers to do this. I'm going to give you a template and walk you through it in this video. And I am so excited to see the results of what comes out. Get excited. We're going to walk through the template now. This is my backwards planning template freebie. You are going to have access to this in the description of this video. Here's what we want to start with. Dr. Gholdy Muhammad's framework. Her historically responsive literacy framework is amazing. There's a summary I've linked to here, which is a podcast episode on Cult of Pedagogy podcast. She is also going to be on my podcast. So as I'm recording this in November of 2022, this is going to drop in a couple months from now, but get excited for that as well. Here are the questions that I have pulled from her book, Cultivating Genius. It is amazing. And then Joy is a piece she added, but I've been following her on Twitter, and so I added this as well. Questions to consider, super helpful. I want you to coach your teachers to ask the questions of how each pursuit will show up in their unit. And what I highly recommend and have been playing with a little bit more lately is these two questions, criticality and identity. Think about how these two could actually play into a particular department. How could they construct essential questions, year-long questions about these concepts? So identity and criticality to me are often the most overlooked. Joy as well. Skills and intellect, I think we do a little bit better. So these are two focus areas. How will you know students have achieved these goals? You want them to answer a driving question. I've done videos before on driving questions, so go check those out. But here's a very quick check. Is it authentic and engaging? Does it ask students to apply what they learned in a new kind of innovative application way? And does it align to the content and skills above? Now, think about how you're going to teach this. That's the next question you want to ask teachers. Consider having them create a unit arc that they can reuse for each unit and just substitute new content in. Here is what that could look like. These are a list of various activities that I've used in my unit arcs before. And then have people kind of go through, check it out, and then think about their own version. You can have them do this in teams because often departments will have the same type of unit arc. Have them go in and just say how many days they would want to spend on this particular part of the unit arc, or would they want to adapt it from what it says here, and what specific protocol or activity would they use? So how many days, what protocol? Here are some examples. You want a hook lesson at the start. You want some ideas for content delivery. You want to make sure students have independent work time throughout the unit. You want case studies where students can dive in and have content area specialization based on their interests. Then you also want opportunities for discussion throughout. You also want a lot of student work time to be able to actually work on the project in class, and then a share out or kind of publishing party, and also an opportunity for reflection in class time so that you can think about what worked well for students and what you could do differently in the upcoming unit. This is a new piece that I've added to this since I created it initially. This comes from Lorena Herman's Textured Teaching book. She talks about adding texture, and this is just one piece of texture that she talks about, but I loved it because it was totally absent from what I had encouraged people to plan with before. Think about how your students' senses are engaged in a unit. So ask teachers to think about student senses. What can they see? What can they hear, smell, taste, touch? And so sometimes that's going to come out in the student projects. Sometimes that's going to start in the hook lesson. How do we maybe hook them with some of these senses? That could be something that's happening. At least one sense is activated in each lesson. So consider that as they're planning as well. If you have all of these pieces, you've considered from a backwards planning standpoint with justice in mind, this is the resource that I would use to coach teachers to be able to do this unit planning work. I cannot wait to hear what amazing units your teachers come up with. Let me know if you have questions around how to use this, how to coach teachers, what kind of supporting questions to ask, what might this look like to do district-wide. I have answers, I have thoughts, I have all the things. So make sure you book a call with me on my website, lindsaybethlyons.com. I will see you again next week for some amazing YouTubeness. If you love this video, you're going to absolutely love my curriculum bootcamp. In just 2 days, we have a live experience that helps your department create feminist, anti-racist curricula that challenges, affirms, and inspires all students. We also have a self-paced course option for teachers or departments who want to go at this at their own pace. Check it out. I'll link to it in the notes below.